So this is one of my favorite slides I've ever made because I think it's so interesting about band and what we played in band or orchestra. So just to read through the slide quickly, so that we have a left and a right side of our brain. And so the left temporal lobe, the left auditory cortex is sensitive to rapid temporal processing because that's where speech is. And so certain people listening to singers or music hear the fundamental pitch more, and they tend to be left brain dominant people. So if you think of what you like in music, do you like to listen to I
Huh?
remember that night, I just might remember that night for the rest of my days? Or do you like to listen to If I Loved You? What do you gravitate toward? Little clues. And then if we keep going down here, by contrast, the right auditory cortex is sensitive to slower temporal processing and spectral processing, the spectrum of pitch. So spectral pitch listeners may enjoy more sustained tones. So then if you look at the chart here, you can see kind of what instruments you've played, what instruments do you like. And then in the top, I added this where it says left and right brain on the top there so you know which is which. And why this is very important is why no one's ever going to agree on what a good singer is or a good music. It's impossible. You will never agree because one person's hearing the fundamental and the other person's hearing the spectrum. And so I think that is very important to understand with the aesthetics that you bring to whatever's happening. You have to just acknowledge that you're not hearing the whole story. Nobody is. Everyone has a bias in terms of how they listen to stuff, which is why I think it's good to have a lot of opinions and to also have a sense of where do I live on this. So I just wanted you to have that written out there so to think about what you are. I think piano is the next slide.
Yeah,
Pianist.
I think when you showed me this slide, when we were putting this together and you showed me this slide, this was just mind blowing to me. Uh, I mean, regardless of what you yourself sing, like I love listening to bass choirs. I always wanted to sing alto because I thought it was because I liked singing the harmony. I played French horn. I double majored in French horn. Cello is my favorite instrument. Everything is leading to that more spectral pitch. And I couldn't believe that all of it just really, really lined up for me. So
It's so
fascinating.
crazy, right? And one thing to point out on the slide, if you look at the bottom of it, look at non-musician and musician. So musicians shift toward the right brain through our activation with music. And that is the creative, big picture thinking side of your brain. So we need our left brain, it's very important. However, there's something really nice about thinking about what does music training do for you when you're looking at the big picture. Music training based on this slide helps you see the big picture in your life, which I think is pretty cool to have reasons for music education in all ages. It doesn't stop when you're not a kid, but I think we all need music education because at least I want to be able to zoom out and see the big picture. And I think that this is some pretty good scientific evidence toward that being the case. And I just find it very inspiring that look at how musicians almost dead center. It's a little bit off to the right, but musician brains are, at least in this way, more balanced based on the findings of this study than a non-musician who's getting so into the minutia of life and missing the big picture. It's like it's emotional for me to see that and to be like, how cool is it what we do as musicians? It's freaking amazing.
Hmm. And when, you had mentioned that to me too, and when we were putting it together, and the fact that music classes are the first to go in so many
It's heartbreaking.
spaces and,
It's
in
heartbreaking. Yeah,
schools is heartbreaking with
it's
what it
heartbreaking.
actually teaches you, not just on, you know, the level of showing up and being on time and having people rely on you, but at the brain level, how impactful music class is.
Absolutely. Like I can and think about like I can remember pieces that I played in band in high school. Do I remember my algebra equations? Honestly, no. I took the AP calculus exam. I got a 4 on it. I don't remember anything about calculus. So it's like there's a thing about, like music connects us to the longer arc of life instead of getting bogged down in this little stuff. And I don't know. I find it to be very, very important. So I think that's just a cool thing to know.
What I've read a lot of is that as musicians, the both of the hemispheres connect.
That's right.
across, and
Especially as singers, because we're using lyrics.
nobody
so-
else does that.
That's right.
And it's really good if you have a singer who also plays an instrument,
I agree.
whatever it
So-
is, and that just really
Right.
gets the whole corpus to just talk to each other. And I find that absolutely fascinating, and that's why I tell my kids we are so special.